Trastuhura is among the tallest, fastest, and longest bobsled coasters in the world. Located at Parc Asterix, this also may be the last steel bobsled coaster ever built. I will explain why and discuss the ride experience in this review. Wooden bobsled coasters were popular throughout the 1930s. Intamin revived the model in the 1980s as a steel coaster. Shortly thereafter, Mack followed suit. They built 5 between 1985 and 1994. Then they built one last bobsled in 2001. This would be Trastuhura. Since then, no other steel bobsled coaster has been built. Intamin doesn't even offer the model, and all others have since been removed. All but one of the Mack ones are still going strong. The only one that has been removed is Munich Autobahn at Kobe Portopia Land in Japan, which only closed when the entire park closed in 2006. Mack still offers the model today, but there have been no takers for it over the past 2 decades. The only bobsled built in the past 20 years has been Flying Turns at Knoebels, which was a wooden model, harkening back to the ones built in the 1930s. But this very clearly was a one-off project. It was built in-house by a park with a love for classic attractions, and given the years of delays, this very well could be the last bobsled coaster ever built. I think there are a few reasons why bobsled coasters are a dying breed. 1. They often have limited capacity. While the Mack versions at least have multi-car trains, the trains are still shorter than other coaster models, and the capacity is hurt by many people choosing to ride solo due to the inline seating. 2. They usually require sprawling layouts due to the wide turns. If a park is pressed for space, there are other coaster models that can be packed into a smaller footprint. 3. The model is more sensitive to environmental factors. The Mack ones have a slatted trough, which at least allows it to operate in rain. This means the trough can drain. But since this is a railless coaster, debris in the trough is still a hazard, so the parks need to be careful about twigs and loose articles. 4. Family coasters have advanced significantly in the past 20 years. There is a far more diverse catalog of family coasters available from multiple manufacturers. Most bobsled coasters have a generic snow or sledding theme. Asterix went for something far more unique with Trastuhura. The name translates to the Trail of Hooray. It takes place back in the Stone Age. During this time, cavemen had not yet learned how to walk on 2 feet. One day, a caveman learns to walk and happily starts running down a hill, yelling hooray. Is it an odd backstory? Oh yes, but it works because they own up to it. Originally, this ride was set deep in the woods, so the brown Keller palette made this ride feel far more natural. Sadly, when Two Tatis was built, the ride became much more exposed. This negatively impacted the ride experience, particularly at night, but it does make the coaster easier to photograph, and the unique looking structure works in the Festival Two Tatis area. While a majority of the ride is not really themed, there are a few nice visuals. There are some stone arches during the final few turns. Then the station is a large rocky cavern. When Two Tatis opened, the bobsled's entrance was moved into that coaster's new area. You still enter underneath this nice stone archway. Then you likely will encounter a decently long wait, as this is one of the park's more popular coasters. Most days, it'll have a wait hovering around the half-hour mark. It often will spike to the 45 or 60-minute range in the late morning, early afternoon. There are 3 ways to experience this with a short wait. 1. Make this your very first stop. Most people prioritize the park's larger coasters for their first ride, most notably the nearby Two Tatis. This approach only works if you arrive at rope drop, because the people starting with Two Tatis often make Trastuhura their second stop because it is next door. 2. Head here during the last 1 or 2 hours. By this point, the ride should have a minimal wait most days. 3. Purchase a Philotomatic Skip the Line pass. You can either purchase a single shot for €10 per person, or use an all-day option. Both take you straight to the station, allowing you to board in just a train or two. This saves a lot of time. I mentioned earlier that bobsleds typically do not have the best capacity, but this one is much better than usual. It has a whopping theoretical capacity of 1,500 riders per hour. Granted, that assumes everyone rides in pairs, which is definitely not the case. Trastuhura still has relatively short trains. They are just 7 cars long, so they seat a max of 14 riders, again, assuming everyone doubles up. But the park at least has several trains in use. I believe they operate this coaster with 5 on the course at once at any given time. And as with the park's other attractions, this ride has a super efficient crew. They commonly roll trains. This is most evident if you watch the lift hill. It is not uncommon to see 2 trains on the lift hill simultaneously, which is quite an odd sight to see with a coaster. Helping with the dispatches is the fact that everything must ride with you, bags included, so guests don't need to waste time storing stuff on the load platform. They can go straight to their seat. You often do not get to choose your seat though. This ride typically operates with strict assigned seating. The forces are fairly similar across the train at least, so this isn't too big of an issue. It is nice to have the unobstructed view up front if you get lucky. It is cool seeing the bobsleds swerve into the trackless elements. The seats are a bit different than your traditional coasters. You sit lower and ride with your legs stretched outwards. It does get cozy if 2 riders are in a car. One rider sits with their back against the seat back. The other sits in between their legs and rests their back against them. Both riders are then secured by a shared lap bar that swivels downwards. If possible, I would try not to ride with your back against the seat back. I like to lean forwards a little bit. This is easier if you're riding solo. This is because of the aforementioned slatted trough design. While this allows them to easily drain water, the wheels are not running on a consistent surface start to finish. You'll feel the bobsled rumble like a cart rolling down a cobblestone road. It is not too much of a nuisance if you lean forwards, but it's very noticeable if you sit all the way back against the seat back. The ride is bearable, but it can be a teeth chatterer. Once dispatched, you round a corner and approach the lift hill. Usually, you will likely see another train nearing the top as you engage. You then ascend the lift. While I have not found an official height listed, I have seen a few sites listed as 100-ish feet or 30-ish meters. That would make it the world's tallest bobsled coaster if it's true. And to be honest, it does feel taller than the other ones I've experienced. Once at the top, you get a fantastic view overlooking to Tatis. If you're lucky, the train will be navigating the top hat right beside you. The coaster begins with a downward spiral. No force to it, but it builds up some speed. This is immediately followed by an S-bend. This is also mild on the forces, but you'll get some okay swaying from the repeated directional changes. This leads to and sets up a downwards helix with some nice force. You then smoothly climb upwards into the first of a few mid-course brake runs. This can really slam the train on some bobsleds, but the entry is delightfully gradual on Trastuhura. You usually pass through these brakes without slowing down, so you take the next part with some genuine speed. You have a decent turn, followed by a great downwards helix. It offers good positive Gs, the best on the ride, and you'll really feel the bobsled drifting up the walls. You then cross the midway and rise upwards into another mid-course brake run. This unfortunately slows you down quite a bit. This leads to a visually exciting downwards helix. It wraps around a rock structure, so you pass through it not once, but twice. Not enough speed for any notable Gs though. Again, this element thrives off the visuals exclusively. At this point, you are back at ground level. You have a quick leftward turn through another stone archway. Then you leisurely climb up the shallow slope. You then hit a brake run, pass by two Tatis once more, and then you hit the final brakes. This takes you back into the station, ending the 2,953 foot or 900 meter long experience. This makes it the second longest bobsled coaster, just behind Bobbin at Haida Park. The other remaining bobsled coasters have roughly half the track of those two. So what would I rate Tras du Jura? I would give this coaster a 6 out of 10. It is a decent bobsled coaster. I like this ride's quirky theme and duration. The ride offers some sway that the model is known for, and the first two helixes are among the most forceful moments of any bobsled coaster. They have nice Gs. Beyond that, the coaster is not too forceful, and the trough does have a noticeable vibration, but this is still a fun and relatively rare coaster model. This fits in nicely at Parc Asterix's ride lineup. I think this is the park's second best family coaster after Pegasus Express. Of the other mock bobsleds, I have it in the middle. I prefer the faster paced, wilder layout of Bobbin at Haida Park and Avalanche at Blackpool Pleasure Beach, but I would take Tras du Jura over Reptilian at King's Dominion and Schweizer Bobbin at Europa Park because of that added length. I really am skeptical whether more bobsleds will be built, so I always make sure to ride them whenever I see one. So those are my thoughts on Tras du Jura at Parc Asterix. What are your thoughts on this coaster? How do you think it stacks up to the other bobsled coasters out there? Let me know down in the comments. And I apologize if I mispronounced this coaster's name. I never learned how to speak French. If you enjoyed this review, I would appreciate it if you gave this video a like, and you consider subscribing, because there'll be a lot more roller coaster amusement park videos here at Canopy Coaster. Thanks for watching.